All right, well, welcome everyone to our Director Bound call. It's October 24th, and we are rocking and rolling. So we're going to start as usual. We're going to start with just 5 to 10 minutes of good news. We want to hear anything that happened in the last week or two that you're proud of, that you're excited about. Maybe if you added a new team member, maybe if you had a fabulous show, maybe if you stepped out of your comfort zone or accepted a challenge. Now is your time to share. So who wants to share first? Simply unmute yourself on the bottom left.
I'll share something. I'm not sure how fruitful it's going to be, but I don't know if you have that Nextdoor neighbor app. It's a green app for your phone, and it's where neighbors can kind of share information about what's going on in the neighborhood. Like, I got my daughter babysitting jobs through here, and people advertise stuff to give away or whatever's going on. And I thought, oh, well, I'm going to do that Hurricane Rescue fundraiser and post it in there, because it reaches like 7,000 people in your neighborhood. It's kind of crazy. And
what is the name of the app? Because I've never heard about it.
If you go to nextdoor.com, I think is the link, and you can sign up and see where it is in your neighborhood. And within an hour, I had like a random, $100 from someone I'd never known. So thought that was
awesome.
Kind of interesting. So I think I'm going to post in there daily.
Yeah, make sure you follow up with that order too.
Yeah, I will. And awesome. She's a neighbor, so obviously.
Obviously, yeah, awesome. Who else wants to share? Learn something new already. Look at that. We're already 1 minute in. I'm going to call you out if you don't share. Rose, Erin, Elise, anyone want to share?
I'm sort of listening in because I'm trying to get my internet fixed, so I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes.
Okay. Do you have any good news you want to share real quick?
Well, sure. I just signed up another recruit.
Yeah.
Her name's Cassidy Motor.
Woohoo! How many more to go?
I've got two more in my sight, but I'm up to 2.
Good, good. So can you share what you did to add a new team member?
I talked to her coworker, and she listened in and then approached me, said she wanted to join. She said, I want to do what you're doing. And I said, this is what you got to do. And she was going on vacation, came off of vacation, and signed up immediately. So awesome. She's all excited. I think she'll be real good.
Congratulations.
She's going to Donna's tonight.
Oh, perfect. Go to Donna's. It's a good thing. All right, who else has some good news? Anything you tried? Elise, I think you unmuted yourself. Go ahead.
Yep. So I went out of my comfort zone, and I ended up asking every single person at the 2 parties that I had going on this week if they wanted to host a party, and then eventually got to know them a little bit like you had advised me to do. And I have 4 potential recruits, which is awesome, because I went from like nobody really interested to 4. So.
And that was through virtual parties, right?
Yes.
Good. So now we just got to seal the deal.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about that today too. All right. Anyone else want to share anything good you did? Anything new you tried out? Nobody else? Any good news? All right. Well, you can share next week. So, maybe you didn't do any, maybe you're just doing what you've always done and you're getting great results. Those are good news too. You don't always have to try something new to do that. Maybe you just had a great party. So feel free to share throughout this whole call. So today we're going to talk a little bit about 2 different things. We're going to talk about informing and inviting others to join our team. So, by now you should have had some shows. You should have done some host coaching that we talked about last time. And if you have not asked all your hosts to join your team yet, you really should, because we know that most recruits are actually our hosts. So we're going to talk about the differences between informing and inviting. Informing is actually creating the interest in the business opportunity. So I'll repeat that. Informing is creating an interest in the business opportunity. And inviting is inviting them to learn more. We're not inviting them to sell, we're just inviting them to learn more. So you want to make sure that you are informing and inviting at your virtual parties or cooking shows. So different ways that you can do that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the cooking show part, but I'm sure that you can implement that in a virtual party as well, either by going live or by having a script typed out and making sure you cover those bases. So at a cooking show, you want to share, the cooking show has 3 components. It's got the show opening, the cooking part, and then the show closing, I guess 4, and the full service checkout. So during your opening, you want to inform people about the business opportunities. So you don't want to talk about it for 20 minutes, but you maybe just want to introduce yourself, share why you got started, very briefly in 2 to 3 minutes, and then invite them to watch what you do tonight. And if they have any questions about this business, to ask them throughout this event. So watch what I do tonight. And if you can imagine yourself behind the apron, or, I know some people use the words, I don't know if you used your last gas to get here tonight. I don't know if you're, staying up and late at night wondering how you're going to buy all your Christmas presents. But if that's you, then watch what I do, invite them to watch what you do, and ask me any questions throughout this whole party. So during the cooking part, right? So again, you can use that for virtual parties too. During the cooking part or during the station style part, however you do your cooking shows, you want to make sure you leave some recruiting messages throughout the whole cooking part. So before I tell you my tips, what do you think are some good things you can do while everyone's cooking or while you're demonstrating to plant seeds about joining your team?
You need to give us some hints to get us on a roll here.
Oh, I think we just found the missing link. Hey, Jason.
This is Jason. I could give you a couple things. I just listen to every conversation. Like, these are people that are good friends, and they're talking to each other. Like, what's new? Oh, my car broke down last week. Okay, great. That's an opportunity. They need money, right? So just listening to all the conversations that the guests are having while they're making small talk can really help you hone in on some of the points to follow up on.
Good. Definitely listen, yes, and build that relationship and figure out who could use this. But what I'm looking for is more, so you're doing your demonstration or they are cooking station style. Somebody might be like, oh my God, I love this rock. So we could just leave it at that, or we could say, did you know that this actually comes in our starter kit now? It's amazing, right? Or if you're chopping, whether you're using the food chopper or the manual food processor, you could say, and this is how Pampered Chef consultants chop their way to success. Little hints like that. Oh my God, the grill pan, you should just become a consultant and it comes in your kit, or earn it free. Or the wine bottle opener, this is the sign-up bonus for this month when you decide to give Pampered Chef a try. So plant these seeds throughout your whole booking demonstrations. Because what you're doing, with your opening, with your party, you're planting seeds. So by the end of the night, when you ask them to play games with you and ask questions, they are now intrigued and want to know more. So once you're done with your cooking part, you sit them down, you do your shop and share, you have them share their favorite product, and they kind of sell to each other. And then you want to just have your 3 ways to get their products. So they can so we used to say, and you can still say that way, you can buy your products tonight, you can earn them free, or you can make money. But we kind of came to realize, why are we doing it this way? Why don't we just tell them about the best deal in the catalog first? So you want to start out by telling them there's 3 ways to get a product, and the best deal in the catalog, guys, if you turn to the last page of the catalog, are our new consultant starter kits. And here's why. So you should tell them about that first, because if they're already intrigued in that, then they might not even want to know about hosting a party or, guest special, because they're like, no, I just want the kit. and I want to have my launch party. So start with the kit first, and then go into, your host special and the guest special. And then you want to play a game. So you do have to play a game in order to allow them to ask questions. And you can do that on a virtual party too. So on my virtual parties, I might post a picture and say, ask any questions about my business, and you get an extra 10 tickets into the drawing. And I give them some examples. So at my cooking shows, you can do the ticket game where you say, you get 3 tickets if you ask me any questions about my business, and 2 tickets if you have any questions about hosting your own party, fundraisers, and stuff like that. And if you are new and maybe you might not know all the answers that they might ask you, don't be scared to just do it, because that is the only way you're going to figure out the right answers. And if they ask you something and you're completely thrown off, then just say, you know what? I just started myself. Actually, that's a really good question. I'm going to call up my director on my way home, and I'll call you tomorrow with the answer that you were looking for. If for some reason nobody asks questions, right, you can just start it out with 3 tickets in your hand and just say, hey, Allison, you want to know how much money I make, don't you? Because once that money questions is over, sometimes they don't really think they can ask it. They don't want to be rude and ask you how much money you make. But once that first initial question is over, the how much money do you make, that's like the magic question. So that should always be asked. So if you are giving away 10 tickets and nobody has asked a question yet, do not stop until that question is asked. And when they ask how much money do you make, has anyone done this at a show? What is your answer?
Say the question again.
How much, if someone asks you at your party, how much money do you make? What do you tell them?
The truth.
Which is?
Well, I tell them my best check I've received thus far for a very little teeny tiny bit of work.
Okay. Yep. So you can share your best check with them, right? And something. Go ahead.
Oh, I've been telling them that you get as much as you put in.
Yes. Because remember, when they're asking you questions about your business, they don't really want to know how much money you make. They just kind of want to know how much money can I make? If they ask you how many hours do you work, they're asking how many hours do I have to work to do this job? So remember that any question they ask you, bring it back to them. So there's 2 ways I answer the how much money do you make. For the last probably year, I've been using the envelopes. So I have 4 envelopes. And if you don't have the envelopes with the paychecks and the stories, just let us know. We can post the links later, or ask your director. So I give out 4 envelopes with 4 different stories printed on the outside and different checks on the inside from different consultants on our team. One is a teacher that does it to just pay for daycare. One is a stay-at-home mom that their life changed drastically and she had to step it up a notch. One is for someone that does it all virtual, so people can see that they don't even have to leave the house. And one of the checks is my biggest check in my story. So you want to make sure that you have different stories of people, because you want to make sure you're relatable. Maybe someone's not relatable to me, but they might be relatable to someone doing this, while they're working full-time being a teacher. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you have not used the envelope activity at your parties, to do so. And you could even do that virtually, right? You can take a picture of the checks and share them. Or, you can always say, as a new consultant, you'll average about $100 a party. So if you're looking for $800 to $1,000 a month, then you would do about 2 parties a week. If you're looking for $400, then you would do about 1 party a week. But you'd be surprised how many people don't think that we actually get paid. They might think like, oh my God, this poor girl just slept all her stuff here to earn a free food shopper this month. You won't believe how many people don't think we actually get paid. They think we just get paid a product. So by showing them real money, real checks of people, you are sparking their interest. And normally what happens once that question's out of the way, the other questions start coming in with, how often do you work, or what's the minimum, or how can I sign up, and give them permission to order their kit tonight. Okay, so I say if you're interested, here are the starter kits. You can order your kit. You can add it right to your order form, right? You know, deluxe kit on your order form. And then what all you need to do is just ask for their social security number and the 3 letters of the CVC code of their credit card, and you can sign them up right when you get home or that night if you have your computer with you. So don't be afraid to sign someone at the show. So once you play some kind of game, either a ticket game, like I said, or the Stealing Hearts game, if you have not heard about that, it's a great game as well, where you encourage people to ask 10, 13 questions about your business, not products, about the business. And then you want to go into, you close out your party and you say, hey, I'm setting up right here for checkout, so whenever you're ready, come see me. And that is where you're going to seal the deal, whether it's booking parties or people joining your team. You need to ask them. If you don't ask, if you don't follow up, the answer is always no, right? So something you can say during your full service checkout, you just invite them to find out more. So Melanie, what sparked your interest about this Paper Chef business opportunity? Or Eric, could you see yourself doing something like Paper Chef? You are selling all the products for me. Or Elise, I heard your husband lost his job, while you guys were cooking. Could you use some extra income? You need to be intentional, because you also want to ask about the business first, because if they say no, they can still book a party even if they don't want to join your team, right? But if you're asking about, hosting a show and they say, yeah, I'll host a show, but maybe they actually want to join your team. Why are we waiting for them to have their show first? Let's sign them up right now, today. And we'll also remember sometimes they might ask, so what does the host get for that? If they sign up that night, the host is able to go to her launch party and get a half price item. Okay? So don't say like, oh, the sales don't count towards her party. They don't, but what you can say is now the host is eligible for another 50% off item at her party. I also uploaded 2 files this morning. One of them are the party outlines. And you can just look at that, and basically it goes through exactly what I just did. And Alice, I think it's Elise. Would you mind muting yourself? It's okay. Baby duty. So I uploaded those cards. If you have not seen them, print them out, take them to your party. They really help keep your party, flowing. And then the other way you can invite people is doing your 24-hour call. So maybe you left the party and you got 1 booking, but no recruit leads, or you got 0 bookings and 0 recruit leads. So remember, I think it was Claire that talked about it on our last call, that you want to leave your party with 2 bookings no matter what. If you cannot get 2 bookings from one party, you need to get on the phone and find 2 bookings, because that is the only way your business is going to grow. And once you get used to that, to 2 parties from every party, you won't have to call people to ask for bookings, and people cancel and be like, okay, I still got plenty to reach my goals this month. So I shared the 24 hours call script as well, so make sure you look over that and really be intentional about asking everyone about joining your team. We do have a 3-part series that just started about teaching you how to recruit. The virtual event part 1 just happened last week. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m., there's going to be a call with Claire Dolger talking all about recruiting and sharing the business opportunity. And then part 3 will be tomorrow night. Right? Is it tomorrow night? I think it's tomorrow night. The virtual opportunity event. So anyone that you have ever asked about joining your team, you want to personally reach out to them and invite them to this virtual opportunity event so they can find out everything about Pampered Chef. So the virtual opportunity event is not for us, it's for our potential recruit leads. We're going to talk about Pampered Chef stories, how much money people make, everything like that, but you need to personally invite people and you need to personally follow up with them. So with that being said, I'm going to see if I can share my screen. I posted about the scavenger hunt. Did anybody see that? I'm I'm bringing it up now. Okay, so can you guys see that? Not if you can see it. Yes, okay. So this week, we would like you to work on the scavenger hunt and basically fill this out with anyone that comes to your mind. You know, do they need extra money? Are they working on retirement? Are they, you know, do they have credit card debt? Does maybe the husband or the wife want to stay at home and not work? Are they a waitress? Are they working as a waitress and you could offer them a way quicker, easier way to make money? We want you to fill these out, and we want you to set up 4 interviews with your director. I don't like to use the word interview. It's a little scary, and I think, but you can just say, you know, hey, you approach them, you say, hey, I thought of you because, right, again, make it personal, because you love to cook, and I'm having so much fun with my Pampered Chef business. Would you be interested in finding out more? You know, depending on what to say, could we set up a call with the lady that got me started, and she can kind of help answer questions, because maybe I'm still new, or maybe, you know, whatever, but set up a call or 3-way message, or some of my people send me screenshots of conversations, and then I just kind of give them tips and they reply back, and we just kind of go back and forth. So we encourage you to at least add 1 more team member by the end of the month. Now is the time. People are, you know, starting jobs at the mall so they can get extra holiday money. So you want to reach out to everyone. And if you have not asked your hosts yet, you are missing out. Seriously, you have to ask every single host. So you can ask your host for November and December. You don't have to wait till their party. You can ask that today. So we have about 5 minutes left. Again, remember to participate in the 3-part series of Sharing the Opportunity, and remember to fill out the scavenger hunt this week and share your results on the director group pages. So I will open it up to any questions you guys have, or any struggles, or are you comfortable with everything we just talked about? Did you hear something new that you maybe didn't hear before that you think you will implement?
I have one question.
Yeah.
Because when I'm at a party, I have to behave. I can't speak what's on my mind. And I had one girl at a party the other night that every time I showed something, like for the manual food processor, she says, oh, I have one and it's electric, so I don't want to trade it in. How do you come back with what's a good comeback when you get someone like that every time you show something, they have a verbal comment of why theirs is better?
Well, it happens. I would say it probably doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. What I like to do, especially if they're loud like that and a little mouthy, I just put them in charge as a recipe reader, or I give them a task being the ticket, you know, here you go, give out tickets or whatever. I probably mostly just ignore them. I smile and I'm like, and then I just, you know, focus on the people that want it. So yeah, you always sometimes have those people at your party.
Yeah, I tried to I did sort of kind of ignore her, but I also, you know, I talked with her, and, you know, like I told her, I says, that's nice. I said, but these are nice because when your power goes off, you have something to cook with. She says, well, my power goes off, I don't cook. I said,
yeah, and sometimes you can't fix it. You just move on and focus on the people that want.
Or you could turn it back to a question to her and say, what are you interested in learning more about here at the party tonight? And then you can maybe tailor some of what you're presenting to make her not be as combative.
Good idea, Jason.
Oh, that's a nice thought. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions, boys and girls?
One more. This girl has one more question.
Oh, go ahead.
When you had your last meeting with us, you said that there was some flyers. One was our apron comes in 5 sizes.
Okay, it wasn't me, but I have the flyer. Yeah, I have a picture of that.
You do. Can you and you mentioned I got the kit coupon, but the recruiting flyer from Pampered Chef, is that the Good Life that you meant?
Yes, that would probably be the Good Life, the orange brochure. And I believe it's available to download too, but you can purchase them. So that's another good tip. You know, when you're handing out catalogs, make sure you hand everyone one of those too. You never know who's going to look at it.
And the recruiting sign-up coupon, is that the same as the kit coupon?
I would think so. I didn't do the last call, but I would assume that that's the same thing, the kit coupon.
Yeah, no, this was the last time you were online. You had mentioned, I think, I can't remember. I think it was like you did something on recruiting or something, and you said there were
you're talking about the event?
3 or 4 flyers. Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
Okay, so if you want to just
the event.
Yeah, if you just want to find the event and comment underneath, then I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can point you in the right direction.
Okay, how would I get?
If you just go on Facebook and type Share the Business Part 1, it should pop up in your past events.
Now that I have you online, is there any place I can go to get our apron comes in 5 sizes?
I can post it on the Direct Bound page if you want. I can post it right after we get off.
You're an angel. You're an angel. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else? Anything else going on? Yeah, go ahead.
I only had one party booked for this week, and that person canceled. So I was wondering, how do you guys get like last minute parties? Hold on. Sorry. How do you get like last minute hosts for like this week, or just you don't?
Okay. Anyone else want to share before I give my tip? How do you get last minute hosts? So if you are looking at the end of the month and you're like, oh, I'm short, what can you do in the next 7 days to still get a party in?
I start making phone calls and do my invites via telephone and emails. Emails or text messages.
Could you host your own?
You posted something, Claudia, and that's what I did. Is I actually just hosted my own fundraiser for Hurricane Matthew, and that's the one I actually posted on the Nextdoor app. So I was just hoping to get a few more dollars in before the end of the month.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, you know, cooking shows, you could still have a party Wednesday, Thursday. Don't be afraid to ask people to book in close. People will know what they're doing this week. Or with virtual parties, you just got to ask, hey, my next round starts tomorrow and I'm looking forward to fill my last 2 slots. Even if you have all of them free, you know, just put some urgency behind it. I'm looking to fill my last 2 slots. You know, I'm going to talk about turkey, Thanksgiving entertaining, and you could earn some free things to use for your Thanksgiving dinner. Is this something you're interested in? Can we make it happen? Okay. Remember, don't end it with let me know. Claudia hates that word.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, girls. All right. It's a little past 1. I will stop the recording, but I can stay on if you guys have any other questions.